My name is Harper Quinn. I'm 34, and for 12 years I've made my living catching liars for a newspaper. So, when my husband's sister crept into my purse at 3 in the morning while I slept one floor above her, she picked the wrong woman to rob. By sunrise, $9,000 was gone. And she had no idea the card she grabbed was the one card on earth I had no power to forgive. I married Dominic Ashford 8 months earlier. Sweet, steady, but trained by a father who believed family debts simply vanish if you love hard enough. That father, Walter, ran Sunday dinners like courtroom sessions. And I sat in the corner seat, still auditioning for a family that never planned to cast me. His sister Renee moved in that fall. Evicted, broke, 2 kids in tow. I said yes for the children's sake. Within weeks, cash went missing. Perfume evaporated. I locked my office door and said nothing more, because Dominic's face always shut down when I brought it up. Then came that Friday night. A floorboard creaked below me at 3 a.m. I told myself it was just a kid getting water. By morning, my phone was drowning in fraud alerts. Flights to Orlando, electronics, children's clothing, $9,000, spent while I slept with my purse hanging by the door. I found Renee in my kitchen, frying eggs, humming, wearing a robe with the tag still on. When I confronted her, she blamed hackers. When I showed Walter the evidence, he looked me dead in the eye and said, she'd never do something like that. Not a question about the charges, just a verdict. Already written. What none of them knew was this. I carried 2 cards from the same bank. My personal one, and my newspaper's corporate card, the one I use for records and travel. In the dark, grabbing fast, Renee hadn't stolen my card. She'd stolen the company's. And corporate fraud doesn't bend for family dinners. It triggers a mandatory report, a sworn affidavit, a process no wife trying to keep the peace can quietly cancel. Walter showed up with a lawyer-drafted statement and a cashier's check for $9,000, claiming Renee had my permission. Sign it, he said, and this family goes back to normal. I refused. That refusal cost me. A rumor reached my newsroom that I'd let a relative abuse my company card. HR opened a review. Reporters I'd trained stopped meeting my eyes. Digging through public records, I found the truth. 2 prior evictions Walter quietly paid off, a police report from Renee's old job. Restitution paid, charges buried, always. This wasn't one desperate night. This was a lifelong pattern, and I was just the newest branch office. At home, Dominic finally opened an attic box from his childhood. A paper route ledger with $200 crossed out and marked, borrowed for Renee's braces, will repay. He never did. A pawned guitar. A cashed savings bond, signature not his. 20 years of quiet theft, always wearing the word borrowed. That night, Dominic told me the real root of it. His grandfather, arrested over a $40 bad check in 1971, a family destroyed by it. Walter had spent 55 years making sure nobody he loved ever faced consequences again, even if it meant feeding someone else, me, to the system in their place. The bank's 10-day deadline arrived. Sign the true affidavit, and Renee could face a felony charge. Sign Walter's version, and I'd be the one exposed. Fraud liability, a ruined career, even federal charges for lying to a bank. My own editor, Vivian, looked me in the eye and said the sentence that saved me, they're not trying to beat your facts. They're trying to spend your credibility until the truth can't afford you. Walter staged one final move. Sunday dinner. The whole family, a pastor as witness, my seat promoted to his right hand. A check and a fake statement waiting with yellow "sign here" tabs. He offered me everything I'd wanted for 8 months. Full family, a real seat, forgiveness, for one signature. I opened my purse. Not his paper, mine. I told that table the truth about the $40 check that broke his father, about the son he quietly trained to sacrifice everything, about a daughter he never once let face a real consequence. Then, on his late wife's good china, I signed the true affidavit with my father's pen and slid his check back across the table. Walter's voice cracked for the first time in 8 months. Then you're not family. You were never family. I walked out. Renee left with her kids. Dominic followed me to the car and said something that broke me quietly in the rain. You were the first person who never asked me to pretend. Renee took a plea. Diversion, no conviction, community service, a repayment plan. 5 months later, she got a job and kept it. Longer than she'd kept anything in years. That spring, she handed me an envelope with her first real paycheck's worth of restitution and whispered, "Don't tell Dad." My purse still hangs on that same hook. Unlocked now, in a house where I finally sleep through the night. I used to think love meant paying quietly, so no one had to leave the table. I know better now. Protection that costs you the truth was never protection at all. It's just a bill the family keeps forwarding to whoever loves them most. And the kindest thing I ever did for the Ashfords was finally mark that bill returned to sender.